Welcome to a new episode of the FPL Secret. Hello there, my name is Zekrit, and before jumping into today's video, can you go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and share if you like the content? It has been almost a month since I started this channel, and the subscription progress is not going at its best, so your support would be a massive help for me. Thank you in advance. In this video, I'll be talking about the teams that fight to compete to be on the elite level. But when it comes to your FPL choices, how do you classify them? Is it a team that you can easily pick 2 or 3 players from? Or you just do that with the teams that reach the top 4 regularly? And are those teams worth considering on a double up or triple up? Let's get into it. We are going to start with the Spurs, because Spurs is most likely a team that will drop from the top teams to that classification. And by that classification, I mean teams who suffer to guarantee a European seat. Last year was a disaster for Tottenham. We all saw that, except Harry Kane, all the choices almost were horrible. Maybe Pedro Porro was a good choice sometimes in the season because of his goal threat as a defender. But will it be the same this season? Or it's gonna get worse if they lose Harry Kane to Bayern Munich? I think under a new manager we have to wait and see. If you watch the friendlies this year, you'll see that Spurs is really exciting offensively. They created a lot of chances on the third half and they looked very good. But defensively, they were even worse. It was very disappointing. The manager uses 4 attackers, the usual triangle of Son and Kane and Kulusevski, and the new signing Madison in the number 10. Kane is very expensive and probably is gonna be very disappointed as well if he stayed another year at Spurs. And probably you will find that his ownership is gonna be very low because FPL managers will look for other options in that price as premiums from a better teams. Eventually, I think game after game, if Kane stays, he will go back to his level and he will start providing the consistent returns that we are used to from him. But for the start of the season, probably I'll avoid him. Some will take a punt on Son, Madison, Kulusevski, or even Pedro Porro. But I think it's very risky to take a punt on Son at 9 million, especially with the competition he will get for his place from Solomon, the new signing, or even Perisic and Richarlison. Because Perisic went back as a winger under the new manager. So I think it's gonna be a tough call on Son under this price and with this competition. And same for Kulusevski, whose numbers went down last year's and he's not become the threat he used to be. For Madison, I think it's exciting at 7 million because he will be on set pieces and probably as nailed as Kane in the number 10. But there are a lot of options in the midfield. So would it be worth the risk? For me, I think not. Eventually I'll wait and see. Even for the exciting fullbacks that seems to be nailed, Porro at 5 million and Idoji at 4.5 million, I think the defense is a big problem for the Spurs from what I saw. So I'll wait and see on that too. Maybe I will target the teams that play against the Spurs. There is one thing I'm sure about for Spurs. If Kane is leaving, Richarlison will be on my team no matter what. The headache comes in the shape of Brighton choices. Even we're all excited about Brighton under De Zerbi, the variety of choices he have in his attackers causes us a headache. The defenders are much easier because we all agree that Estepinian deserves the 5 million price tag. But when you look at the attackers, you will probably go Mitoma as everyone does. But personally, I have a problem with Mitoma. He blanks a lot. He is a player you like to watch but not necessarily have. He dribbles a lot and he can keep the ball for a long time, but his sense on the goal doesn't match with his quality. I think he needs to improve on that, on the decisions, and physically as well he needs to improve. So when I look into an attacker outside of Mitoma, I get lost. I really like Solly Marsh, but I didn't see him get a lot of minutes in the preseason. And Sisu is a good player too, and even cheaper, but the minutes are not guaranteed at all. Joao Pedro looked really sharp in the friendlies, but the problem is that Brighton have four attackers. It's him, Welbeck, Ondav, and also Ferguson. And under a coach like De Zerbi who likes to rotate, you will never guarantee that. So Brighton choices might be really tricky. Even if the starting fixtures are really tempting, I might go ahead and start the season without a Brighton attacker, just to avoid being in a constant worry. And probably I'll see them scoring every game and cry. So moving on to Brentford without his two main stars, one for sure and the other is on the way. Ivan Toney is suspended for a long time and David Raya is leaving soon. Over the past 2 years, Brentford was a solid team, and we all had Raya and Tony sometimes in the season. We all remember Raya's massive saves and Tony's 3 bonus guaranteed. But now things will be quite different. In the preseason, we saw that the new goalkeeper is not on the same level as Raya, so that made me take the decision to avoid Brentford defense, even with the good fixtures. Because we all know Raya was a main factor in the clean sheets that Brentford get. On the attack, we are all after Mbuemo because he has set pieces, penalties, and all that, and a lot of us think he will take Tony's place. But if we take a close look at Brentford in the friendlies in the preseason, we will see that they haven't won a single match. And Mbuemo on the other side was a bit lazy. He only got one return and that was a penalty. So I expect from Mbuemo we will not get the type of consistency that we got with Tony. But still, he is the best option from Brentford if you're thinking of a Brentford attacker. And the fixtures are great, so we will hope for the best if we get him on in our teams, even if it's tempting to ditch him for another midfielder. And honestly, I don't expect a great season for Brentford. If they haven't posted their attack, I think they will suffer and they might get kicked out of the top 10. Aston Villa is a team that we can say a lot about. The ambition, the perfect squad, the experienced manager, and the high spending. All the factors are suggesting he will be a big team this season. If we looked at the squad from the bottom to the top, they already have the world champion goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, and they have strong center backs as well, Mings and Diego Carlos, and now Pau Torres. In their last friendly against Brentford, Emery tried a new style of playing. He tried to play three in the back. He's just trying to find a way to play his two left-footed center backs together, Mings and Pau Torres. So he tried this way to make Mings play centrally because it's gonna be hard for him to play as a right center back after all these years. And he need them both to play. It ended up with conceding 3 goals, but still it is something to think about for him. On the two sides you have the amazing left back Alex Moreno, but he's on a long injury right now, but his sub Lucas Dean is decent as well. And on the right side you see Matty Cash, the fast right back that always fights for his ball. In midfield it's a totally different story. You have McGain, Douglas Luiz, Buendia, and Tielemans and Ramsey. Really underrated midfield that can do a lot. And the attackers, as it seems in the moment, will be Watkins and the new signing Diaby. Remember when I said earlier I'm thinking of ditching Mbuemo? That's because of Diaby. He comes in the same price at 6.5 and Watkins is really expensive. I'm really excited about Diaby. He is an excellent player and we all know that he chose the Villa over the money. So I'm very excited to see what he's gonna do in the Premier League. I know the fixtures are not the best, but I guarantee you will see a very good team under Unai Emery this season. I know it will be hard to pick a defender from Aston Villa who doesn't provide an attack in returns, because in the starting fixtures the clean sheet is not guaranteed at all. But it all depends on Emery and how he is gonna play. Is it 3 in the back? Is it 4 in the back? If it's a 3 on the back, who he's gonna ditch? Will it be Matty Cash and he plays with Diaby as a wing back? I'm not really sure. Lucas Dean could be an excellent choice if he played as a wing back. But we all know that Moreno is coming back in a few weeks, so if you pick Dean, it's gonna be a short time pick. So you can go safe and pick Pau Torres at 4.5 million. I think he will be the first choice center back. But you can't play him all the time with this fixtures, so you're gonna need some other defender to rotate him with. And I know eventually people will go for Watkins because we know him and we know that he's always involved in the goals and a penalty taker and a 90 minutes man. For me, it is just the 8 million price tag and the other options with better fixtures that I can pick. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to start with Watkins, even if I was excited about him all the time. What will you do? Tell me in the comments. Will you start with Watkins? Okay, there you go, guys. That was all about the teams that could be a threat to the top teams this season. Now we've nearly talked about 15 teams in the previous video. You can go and watch them if you want to know more about, and wait for the upcoming videos to finish the preseason and talking about all the teams. And don't forget to subscribe as well. And until next time then, see ya.